4 years old when he met the King of Pop. He wrote a book about their relationship called My Friend Michael, an ordinary friendship with an extraordinary man. And Frank joins us right now from Los Angeles. Frank, good to talk to you.
Hi, it's good to be here. How are you?
Good, Frank. Now, Frank, tell us, you met Michael Jackson at 4. How did the two of you meet?
Gee, I met at 4. My father was the general manager of the Hemsley Palace Hotel in New York City, and he ran the Tower Suites. So all the VIPs who came into the hotel, my father was responsible for their well-being at the hotel and taking care of them. Michael and my father became very good friends, and they established a friendship. And Michael wanted to meet the rest of the family. So one day my father says to me, I'm going to take you to work, and I'm going to introduce you to a friend of mine. His name is Michael Jackson. So sure enough, get to the hotel, go up to the room. My father takes me right up to the suite, and there Michael's sitting in the chair with his sunglasses on, and he goes, "Hi, my name is Michael." And I said, "Hi, I'm Frank." And
did you know who he was at that point? You're so young at that point. Did you know and understand who he was?
I had no idea who he was. All I cared about was cartoons and cars, and I had no idea who Michael Jackson was. I was 4 years old. I had into Popeye and things like this. I had no idea who he was, and I learned later, I guess, you know, who he was.
Now, Frank, the inevitable questions with Michael Jackson always come around to some of the accusations that are years old, and people wonder when he's meeting young people, what was he like with them? What was Michael like with you?
Wow, he was the most generous, humble, loving man in the world. I think I always consider him the greatest teacher in the world, and I always say that because he really took people under his wing and taught them and educated them, and he almost, you know, he'd been through so much in his life, and he's experienced so much, and he knew he was blessed, and he was truly like God sent to this earth, and he wanted to share that with people, and he wanted to share his message through his music. He wanted to share, you know, his insight to life, his insight to love and family with his close friends and family, and he was just such a giving, warm person. He always, you know, put himself second. He always wanted to give back to everyone. And, you know, his mantra, what is his mantra? Heal the world. We are the world. Lost children. Yeah. Earth Song. Human nature. Man in the mirror. There's not many pop artists and singers out there that have that message, and it comes from the heart. You know, those are some of his favorite songs because, you know, he really, truly cared about the well-being of this earth and people and children suffering, and he was just such a sensitive, warm, good person.
Frank, how did you feel in this trial when Michael, as a victim, was in some ways by the defense dragged through the mud a little bit? They talked about him being a drug addict. I think a lot of people out there talked about him and started thinking back to the accusations years earlier. Was he a person who molested kids? You know, that didn't come in this trial. But what did you think about the sort of attack on Michael Jackson as part of this trial?
You know, Michael's been, unfortunately, you know, Michael's the biggest entertainer that ever lived. Mm-hmm. He's probably the most recognizable name in the world, at least in the top 5. So when you're on top, no matter who you are, they always try to bring you down, and it's been a constant pattern. And you know, they attack, first and foremost, they attacked Michael for what he loves the most and what he's so passionate and sincere about is helping children, and he got his inspiration from children. And they took that and attacked him and used it against him. Michael Jackson's not a pedophile. He has no interest in boys, and that's disgusting, and that's so inaccurate. And that's why I wrote, one of the reasons why I wrote this book, because I wanted to make sure and make it clear to the world, for Michael's legacy, that this man is not a pedophile. He has some eccentricities, you know, from the outside looking in. Yes, it might look different, but this man is not a pedophile. And to address what you were indicating with some of the addictions that you said, Michael Jackson was not a drug addict. There were certain times that I was concerned. I was personally concerned because I didn't understand. I didn't understand that what this man was going through, and I've witnessed him through so many things that where he sincerely was in a lot of pain and was going through so much. Where yes, you know, there were times where there was doctors where I was concerned that I addressed it. I had several conversations with him.
So you saw some of this and you
a,
addressed it with him, and what did he say?
Oh, he was clear he did not have a problem, and he explained to me what was going on. But you know, he was a friend of mine, and I was concerned. But you know what? One thing where people are getting this wrong is, you know, they're making out this to be where he had problems throughout his entire life, and he was a junkie. Michael Jackson was not a junkie. He had, you know, there were maybe short times where, you know what, there was concerns, and then there was periods of time where he was completely clear. There's no doctors coming around, and they're taking this whole thing out of context. They're taking this and making it and expanding it to something that it's really not.
Frank,
you know,
I want to ask you one other question, just because I'm a little tight on time. I know you have sometimes have contact with the family. What do you think his children are going through right now? If you've talked to them or interacted with them recently, how are they doing? Because so many of us think about, you know, we've lost Michael Jackson, but it's more than that. These children have lost their father.
But that's why this Dr. Conrad Murray, you know, he took a father away from his 3 children. He took their best friend away from his 3 children. He took, selfishly, a man, a friend to the world, a man there will never ever be another Michael Jackson that ever lived. And this man selfishly took this man away from all of us. And it's the first time in history, the first time that a man will ever OD in the care of a doctor. This is ridiculous.
All right, Frank Casio. Frank, I'm sorry I got to cut it short just because we want to make sure people catch the hearing. But Frank, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, Dr.